Hello everyone, I'm Anna Annison, the founder of the Data Science Salon, and I'd like to welcome you to the Data Science Salon video DSS Weekly Play Series. And in this video, this was actually one of my favorites from our DSS focused on retail and e-commerce last year. And I'm gonna welcome Ella Hilal, Director of Data Science at Shopify, and she's really gonna talk about how you can tap into data effectively to drive better decision making and as far as strategy and product creation goes. So this is a really great one. I hope you enjoy, and let's get started.
Hello, everyone. I'm Ella Hilal. I am the Director of Data Science and Engineering at Shopify for Plus and International PLs. This year has been like no other year. Been lots of changes, and lot was happening. And for all honesty, it does feel to me like a bit of a Black Mirror episode. That's not what I ever expected 2020 to be like. But in the same time, this year has significantly changed the way we live our lives. Retail has totally changed. We're all purchasing things more and more online, and we're doing more things that we didn't expect it to be done before. I will tell you, this year in Halloween is going to look totally different for me and my daughter. So meet entrepreneurs Corina and Brianna. Both of them are the founders of the Coco and Breezy Eyewear. And they have been on Shopify since 2009, selling their amazing eyewear designs. But as COVID hit and they had to pause the retail stores, they were able to use Shopify fulfillment networks and other to continue selling online and retaining their staff. So the truth is, commerce can be a force for good in this current economical situation. It can empower our entrepreneurs or anybody who's seeking financial independence to be a creator, to design their own things, build their own products, and build their own brands, and be able to continue working on the things that they're passionate about, even under this very harsh circumstances. So when we did the analysis and data, we actually found that there is a positive economical impact based on commerce. So there's about over the years since 2016 to 2019, we've seen about 319 billion economical activity of businesses built on Shopify. We also seen about 2.1 million full-time jobs supported by businesses on Shopify, and 6.9 billion estimated sales generated by our global partner network. So this is all shows that there is a positive value to commerce and all over. And this is, again, one slice of it. There is a wider impact for commerce all around the world. And this is why we actually are very keen on making sure that we're empowering more and more entrepreneurs. We all say we're arming the rebels. We're giving them the power to go build their dreams and make it a reality. And for us to be able to do that, we wanted to acquire more merchants and get them to know about Shopify. So we were casting a very wide net. So from word of mouth, search engine marketing, digital advertising, Shopify blog, all the way to sales representative for our large customers that do B2B. And our mission is global. We want to empower entrepreneurs anywhere in the world. So we've been operating in 175 countries to date, and we're trying to make sure that we are the perfect market fit for everybody to be able to build their dreams on Shopify. But the truth is, reaching the right audience in the right way is not easy. If you looked at that from a marketing side or a sales side, it's actually quite hard. And there's 3 insights that made me make this claim. So insight 1 is our customers face a sea of endless information, noise, and choice. If I reflect on myself, I have a black hole of emails in my inbox that says promos or marketing, and then I just filter it all in there, and sometimes I don't even look at it. And the truth is also it's more complicated for B2B merchants because they don't have their power of choice in their hands. Sometimes buyers, sometimes the consumer buy in a committee. There is a committee that decides on a tool. And then the ones who are vetting the tool are not the one with the deciding vote on to buy or not to buy. So it becomes a little harder because they also need to do selling internally of what this product looks like and how can it benefit the business. And all of that is also gets a tad more complicated by having B2B marketers knowing less about the buyers due to the dark funnel, making it a little bit harder to understand who your buyers are and what they need to make sure that you communicate to them in the best way possible. So meet the consumer experience divide. Marketers want to do a killer job and want to do a really good job bringing value to whom it matters and when it matters at a scalable and reliable way. In the same time, consumers cannot identify fake news from real news because there is so much coming at them. So it's struggle to decipher what is really valuable and what is really the valuable sources. So this is where it like both sides of the coin, it's not linking right. So definitely data is key in this. So data is key to empower an audience and consumer first paradigm, making sure that we are able to communicate to them in the best way possible and at the right moment of time. But the truth is, although data is can empower marketers for these particular needs, our data science teams do not always know how to help. They have the superpower of slicing and dicing the data, but do not always know how to best build it. And then it becomes a broken phone game between the marketers saying, I need this, or the sales teams is like, we need to run that fast, and or we need that. And the data science team is like, well, I'm not sure exactly what you want or how do I give it to you exactly. So I'm gonna share my 6 steps that I think data scientists can help 10x the marketing and sales teams. So the first one I will share with you is understand your audience. Dear data scientist, don't start slicing and dicing the data when you don't understand the data of the people that you are slicing and dicing for. So first of all, understand your TAM, understand your addressable market, who your consumer or merchant might be. And then go talk to merchants. Go have conversations with them. Partner with your support and with your UXR. Try to talk to them to understand their pains, their behaviors, what they care about. And remember that merchants are complicated. They are not unique. They don't have a unique set of needs. There are segments, like they're just humans. So we are all different and there is groupings that can be seen. So before you start slicing and dicing based on one dimension, before you start applying your segmentation and categorization algorithms, first step back and do exercises of merchant profiling to understand what these merchants look like and what do they really need. And remember that it changes over time. So as we grew in Shopify and our merchant scope increased, the complexity of our merchant base increased too. Our merchants are growing and seeing the same challenges that we ourselves are seeing. So keeping that in mind and making sure that you understand that the merchants are evolving will help set you up for success as you're building these profiling. So for my first set of recommendation to understand your audience, I will tell you, start with TAM. Talk to your audience yourself or shadow support or UXR if possible. Understand what they care about and how they operate, because that will make you understand the data in a whole different light, which is really essential. And remember, watch out for generalization. Don't generalize your algorithm too fast. Understand that there's no one size fits all, and your merchant base or your consumer base will evolve over time with their needs and their wants and their behavior. So make sure that you continue to revisit your algorithms as well as you learn new things about your merchants. My second key recommendation, my second key step is understand the business. And you cannot switch one and two. So make sure that you work in the steps sequentially. At least this is my learning and this is how I found it. So when you understand your business, go understand what type of market you are aiming to get. Small, medium, large. What, how are you attracting these merchants? How are you making money? Understand your growth profile. What areas are you doing better than others? Understand why are you growing in these countries or in these regions or in these domains or segments. Is it a certain campaign? Is it a certain product market fit? Double click to understand what's happening from a business side of view. Also understand where your revenue comes from and what's your revenue profile. Where are you making money and what makes you grow and succeed as you do that? So my second set of recommendations to help you understand the business is number one, learn from the experts. Go talk to finance. Go talk to customer support. Go talk to your product managers. In addition, be very curious about the marketing craft and the sales craft. Go buy books. Go, like, the amazing things about marketing and sales is that they like to teach. They like to do marketing videos and explaining how to do that. Watch these, spend the time to understand the craft, because that will make you understand better how the operations and how the data that is coming your way is coming and what's in there, what's the nuances, what's the underlying distribution and shape that made the data look this way. Shadow the teams and sit close to them. Be one of the team. Understand what they're thinking so that you are proactive in your analysis and that you understand what you are and the data that's coming your way. My third step would be model your funnel. Funnel is easy to think about. Things are cascading one step at a time. You usually have a lead pool. You move to some sort of qualified lead where somehow magically the lead gets qualified. We're going to talk about it a tad more. And then maybe it becomes an opportunity if you have a sales team that becomes an interested opportunity, and then you convert. So although it looks simple, but the truth is usually when you really model the funnel, it becomes really complicated and really nuanced. There's different ways things touch each other. And it's important to understand that because it's the key part of the success of this is for you to be able to model your funnel as a first-class citizen in your data warehouse. So make it in there. Don't just SQL it. Make it as a table in there so that you can touch, revisit, and also apply different lenses on it. So if we talk about pre-qualified lead or qualified lead is a key concept of understanding the funnel design. And it means that you identified that this lead is has higher probability to become a potential customer or a potential client. So that means you're doing some form of lead scoring or ranking. Or you're using a third-party tool to do some form of lead scoring and ranking. But if you look at it, usually if you have a funnel similar to ours, where you have marketing, you have sales, sometimes you have partnership, qualifying leads come at different phases at the funnel. So you at different phases by function. So sometimes you have marketing qualified lead, and other times you have partner qualified lead or sales qualified lead. And between all of them, there is different lenses by which you're applying the probability of them to convert. You can also slice your funnel by the source of lead. Where are they coming from? Is it like a referral? Is it like certain marketing campaign? Is it a cold call? Is it an outbound, inbound? How is it working? Is it a partner referral? The nice thing is, as soon as you model your funnel as a first-class citizen in your data warehouse, applying the different lenses becomes easy. So it doesn't matter if you're applying a functional lens, if you're applying a source lens, or even if you're applying a geo lens, because you have it into your as a first-class citizen in your data model, it becomes easier to apply these things to it. And then you can even apply it by segments, like what type of sales segment are you selling to, or like even maybe industry, or maybe something that you learned out of your audience, like whether it's a certain interest, certain industry, certain firmographic, or certain psychographic. You can apply any of that into that data, into that model. So number one, I would say partner with the teams to make sure that you're building it the right way from the first time, so that you ensure adoption. So as you understand how they think about the funnel and all the nuances on it, build it right, model it, do not just SQL it, and then apply different lenses to it. Because the more you apply that, the more you understand how things are really progressing and how it's working. And at this point, you can empower your sales and marketing team from being a cost center to a huge revenue center, right? Like the more they understand how they're doing, the more they are seeing where they can optimize their processes. You're empowering them to introduce efficiencies in their workflows. My fourth recommendation is actually discuss performance. So the marketing and sales teams are very performance driven teams, and this is amazing. But usually data scientists tend to shy away from being part of these conversations. And I would encourage you to sit at the table and drive discussions. So I think the first thing that you need to do is build a very strong reporting suite where people understand what they're doing, how they're performing, and when they're performing. And it's really important for this reporting suite to be discoverable, making sure that people understand how to navigate, where to start, and how it cascades. So if this is my high level view, then how can I double click down? Is it in that, should I expect it in the same report? Should I expect it in another report? How do I get there? So think about it from a from a UX type of perspective. How your consumers will navigate your suite of reports to make sure it's easy and it's accessible. What is it in the CRM and what will live outside of the CRM? Or do you want everything to be in the CRM? So think about that and think about how all of these different resources tie together. The second thing, and it's most important, is that so now you have your reporting suite, create automated daily pulses on performance. And I say daily here, that's what we're doing, but you can also choose weekly, or even wider time frame. The reason we have it daily is because that helps us to drive this discussion about performance. So you can build, I don't know, we use Slack. If you're using Slack or using alternatives like Teams or others, figure ways to build plugins where like the data goes like automated into a Slack bot or Slack message saying, this is what we've seen today. It went up, it went down, and it's just an automated process. So this drives the discussion. The third step on this I would recommend is build an anomaly detection system. So this one is actually our internal tool. It doesn't show a lot here, simply I obfuscated a lot because of privacy reasons. But it's really important to know that like what we do is like we have systems that actually tell us when things are not within the bounds that we expected it. And you can define the different ranges of the bounds. So you can start with light red or like yellow for something that is maybe close, but not exactly what you expected it to be. And then you can range out so that you can actually be proactive, and the sales and marketing teams be proactive and react fast to changes and adjust and adopt their operations to the needs of the business and the ever-changing market. Because the truth is the market changes all the time. So the distribution and the way things are projected will change. So that also allows the data team to be proactive in adjusting the expectations as they evolve. So I would say, again, my recommendation for this would be actually 4 things. I'll talk about 3 first. Build a strong, discoverable reporting suite. Have a daily performance pulse. Build anomaly detection systems. And most importantly, make important things accessible. Remember the rule of 3. You need to say that the same thing 3 times in 3 different ways and 3 different occasions. So build systems to help you do that. When there's something that is not going right, let's not keep it unseen or unheard. Let's trigger it early so that the sales and marketing teams can react and can adjust. My fifth recommendation is look under the hood. So this amazing Giphy is just like the perfect example. So that person is talking about how things are looking good, but he's missing the whole massive drop that is happening. So whenever it's too good to be true, double click. Take the time to investigate and understand what is happening. So for example, this is an example of our Black Friday, some Cyber Monday data. And we have a lot, and this is public information. You can find it also on our website. But if you look at it, we see like it looks like we're growing year over year. Even if we're having lots to celebrate, we stop, we look, we double click, we understand what's happening. It doesn't always have to be something good is happening because something bad is happening underneath it. But either way, we're building the muscle to always investigate. And as we're growing internationally, we continue doing that too. So we look at small and big things. So this is an example of a deep dive that my team has done, where we looked at how the mobile purchases are looking and how does it look from different regions. And although this is sometimes is a region specific thing, we wanted to make sure that we understand the behavior and why are we seeing the reasons to celebrate as well as the reasons that we don't need to celebrate. So my recommendation for this step is if it surprises you, spend the time to deep dive. If it's not passing the sniff test, if it's too good to be true, or if it's bad, I know that people will spend the time on it, but if it's too good to be true, spend the time to investigate. Don't only investigate the aha moments. We always talk about the activation points. So we're like, it's the aha moments, the moments that will make customers love the product. Also investigate the uh-oh moments, the moments that actually are the opposite of the aha moments. These are the moments that cause your merchants or your customers to be okay, because I think this will help you inform the teams, inform the product teams or the commercial teams or the sales, marketing, whoever, to adjust their processes or the product or the solutions to make it more leaning into the aha moment, because the aha moment will make them love it, but the oh moment, when it's frequent enough or maybe if it's big enough, will make them leave it. And you never want to have a leaky funnel. Watch out for confounding variables. And I thought a lot about putting this in here because I know we all talk about, oh, we're data scientists, or like people love data. We know the difference between causation and correlation. And I will tell you, out of all my years between academia, between industry, everywhere, it always surprises me how much people conflate causation and correlation because they are missing a confounding variable. Spend the time to think about what is the hidden variables that are impacting things so that you really understand what's happening. So double click, there's lots of statistical methodologies that does help with that. So make sure that you spend the time, think thoroughly. When you see something that is so true, is so amazing, don't jump to conclusions, say it's true because this is that. Just make sure that you double click and you understand this is the reason we need the time to deep dive. More importantly too is bouncing ideas on the ground team. So sometimes of your confounding variables are things that is not in your preview. You don't see them, you don't know them. So if you have teams in ground, just have the conversation with them. So sometimes the sales will drop on a certain day because there was a power outage in one of the bigger districts in a certain region around the world that you actually don't know of. So just make sure that you have discussions if you have on-ground teams, or expand your world by third-party data. So whether it's data easy to add or other forms of data that you can collect from different, even written resources. So make sure that you're able to collect all of that and add this knowledge into your solution. And my last step, after you do steps 1 to 5 and not before, this is the time for you to automate. Build your machine learnings, build your AI, but not before you do steps 1 to 5. Because if you do it earlier, you're going to build solutions that doesn't meet the need or doesn't stand the test of time. So when you really understand, you understand the circumstance, you understand your data, you understand how it all looks like, this is the time for you to think about automation. And with this one, I will actually say, First, do not automate before you're ready. Understand what exactly is happening, how your teams are working with the data that you're providing, or what's their operations like. If you are trying to automate while they're continuously changing their operations and their processes, you are in a always catching game, trying to adjust your models, adjust your data frameworks, all that to make it meet the needs. So don't automate before you're ready. Make sure that you have a clear understanding of what you're building or what you need and how and what success looks like. Always start by considering third-party tools. And it's not because we do not do a good job building things, and I don't mean that, but the reason I'm saying that is because there's always tendency for engineers, developers, data scientists to say, well, I can build it better. I would always recommend that you start with a third-party tool to understand how it performs and to see what really works and what doesn't work. And save your precious time for building the stuff that is not solved elsewhere. So let's say you already tried a third-party tool, or you searched online and didn't find, or you searched in the tool base and you didn't find what you need. Okay, this is the time to start considering, can I automate it myself? And if you're considering a machine learning, I will always say, start simple, baseline. Find what you can do without a machine learning model. So fuzzy rules, if-then statements, start very basic and very simple. That will help you understand what is the simplest and cheapest from a time perspective and cost and perspective solution that you can build that will solve this problem. So that will be your baseline. And then define what good looks like. So after you have your baseline, think about, what do I need? Do I need a better precision? Like, is my sensitivity is the key, or is it my specificity is the key, right? Like precision recall, where do I want to be on that spectrum? What am I willing to sacrifice? Am I looking for the 99%, or am I looking for the 70%? Also, watch out for the overshadow of academia that can provide. So academic papers and articles always talk about like a massive amount of accuracy. This is not really applicable in the real world. So this is where you need to adjust between these things. I would say the third most important thing, if you're considering machine learning, is build iteratively and release incrementally. So define your initial scope, build it and release, enhance and release. So you continue doing that to make sure that as you're testing, as you're collecting and testing, you are understanding what's the limitations of your algorithm. And of course, don't optimize prematurely. Make sure that you're not falling in an overfitting with your training data. Make sure that you are able to track the performance over time. And last but not least, and I think it's really, really important to stress on, is consider guardrails, because any data set does have a statistical distribution to it. So make sure that as you deploy in production, the statistical distribution doesn't evolve, because again, remember, point number one, our audiences evolve over time. So if our audiences evolve and their behavior evolves, then the distribution by which your machine learning model was trained actually does change. And accordingly, your model might not be as accurate or as valid as you thought it was. So consider how, when you're deploying into production, how frequent you train, what's the guardrails to make sure that if the distribution diverges, you can track that and be able to adjust. So to conclude, as I mentioned, I talked to you why reaching the right audience in the right way is hard, but I genuinely believe that us data scientists can have a major impact on this and can help a lot. But before we run into building all our amazing machine learning solutions or our amazing pipelining and tooling and automation that we are capable of doing, I think it's really important to follow 6 key steps or 5 key steps. The first one is spend the time to understand your audience, understand the business, learn from the experts, model your funnel, and make it a first-class citizen in your data warehouse so that you can apply different lenses on it as time evolves and as you learn more about your customer and your business. Be part of the performance discussion to see what's working and what's not. And if there's something that doesn't pass the sniff test, if it surprises you, maybe it's too good to be true, or if it doesn't make sense. So open the hood, look under the hood, and investigate. Deep dive. Watch out for confounding variables. You use your statistical methods truly, and don't just be excited by shiny things. Think about the difference between causation and correlation. Last but not least, as you automate, start simple. Find what works first with the least friction way, and then build on it. And when you have a machine learning model, as you deploy it in production, watch out for the divergence of the statistical distribution of the data set. And with that, I would say thank you so much for chatting, for being here, and listening to me. So thank you.
This was Ella Hilal, Director of Data Science at Shopify. She just talked about her experience of leveraging data and making better sales and marketing decisions.
So if you found this video useful,
please leave a comment in the comments section. Really appreciate your feedback.
And we'll see you in the next session.
Please subscribe to our channel, the DSS channel. We're going to be releasing new content every week, and so you don't miss our upcoming videos. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.